Hey guys, so I got quite a few questions. I'm going to touch on some, because I'll probably do two videos. I'm going to touch on some that are important to me. And one of them, I gotta forget your name. You asked me to talk more about the alpha-gal that I have. I have alpha-gal syndrome, which is caused by the Lone Star Texas tick. It's a tick, well, from Texas, but now it's mostly all over the country. Um, it's a meat allergy. They release, when they bite or feed on you, a sugar molecule, which goes into our bloodstream, and it causes us to be allergic to red meat and dairy and pork, any mammalian meat, basically. Um, People can eat emu, um, some other exotic meats like that. I can't eat any. I've been dealing with this for about 21 years, and they thought I had irritable bowel. They thought I had just an array of other things, and none of them ever panned out that was what was wrong with me. I had GI issues. I've worked with dogs my whole life. I've worked with puppies, and I had giardia for quite a while. And so I just figured that did a toll on my GI system. And then I was in Virginia not last summer, the summer before. I think so. Days go into each other here. I was at my son's house, and his wife has alpha-gal, and I got bit by a bunch of ticks there because he lived out in the country. And she said, our symptoms are so similar. She said, you should be tested. So I got to Colorado. I needed to see my doctors. So I asked my doctor to test me. It's just a simple blood test. She'd never heard of it. So I had to explain it to her. And I came back positive. Now, it's better for me to read what this actually is. It's a red meat allergy, or tick bite meat allergy. It's a serious, potentially life-threatening allergic reaction. Alpha-gal is not an infection, and alpha-gal symptoms occur after people eat red meat or are exposed to other products containing the alpha-gal. And this is after you've been bit by this tick. Some reactions can include hives, itchy rash, nausea or vomiting, heartburn or indigestion, diarrhea, shortness of breath, cough, difficulty breathing, a drop in blood pressure, which I've had for quite a while. I'd get up and almost faint, and my doctor said it's just from my high blood pressure. Swelling of the lips, throat, tongue, or eyelids, which could be anaphylactic, dizziness or faintness, and severe stomach pain. And our symptoms usually occur 2 to 6 hours after we've eaten something with alpha-gal in it, or we can be fume reactive, which I've recently in the past year have become. I can't be at a barbecue where someone is grilling meat. I can't have my meat grilled on the same grill that they're grilling, like my fake meat, or even like if I'm grilling peppers or vegetables or something. Mine has to be, and it also has to be in separate pans. If I'm at someone else's house, I usually just cook in my trailer. If I cook in their house, I'll use my own dishes, or I'll rewash theirs. And animal products are in so many things. Gelatin is one. I had to check all my medications with my pharmacy because they coat a lot of pills in gelatin. God, there's even beauty products that have mammal products in them. It's amazing if you really do your research. So that's why when I went vegan 7 years ago, I started feeling better. And I had about 85% of my symptoms disappear. And it wasn't until, 6 years ago now, that I finally found out, because I've known now for a year, that I have alpha-gal. It can also be, and each person is different. I belong to an alpha-gal Facebook page, and some of the people that post their pictures, I mean, the hives are unbelievable on these people, and I just feel so bad for them. And I've recently, this past year, been having anaphylactic issues, so I do have EpiPens, and that's scary in itself. I had to leave. I was at Panda Express with a friend, and I assumed, I watched everything. That's when I realized that I'm fume reactive. My throat was swelling, and I had to get outside. Let me see. Well, I'm just very careful with it now. I know what it is. I know what to avoid, and I can't eat, even seafood bothers me. But alpha-gal is mostly just mammals, all mammal products, anything from a mammal, especially like from a cow. I mean, the sugar that we eat, regular white sugar, is processed with bone char. So there are a few companies that don't use bone char. I really don't use sugar. Raw sugar is safe. Coconut sugar is safe. And there are a couple brands of white sugar that don't use bone char, but I haven't used regular table sugar in forever. I make sure all my personal products, even my makeup and my shampoo and conditioner, are vegan. And I'm just careful. I read labels constantly. Um, if, like, at Mother's Day, my daughter's boyfriend's parents came over and they were making biscuits and gravy too. I just thought I was making everybody breakfast. Well, they brought bacon also. So I had to sit outside. And when I ran outside and lunch was almost done, I took a picture for Instagram, and my throat was getting itchy and felt weird. But I had a fan on, I had all the doors open, I had the windows open, and I made sure I sat outside. But I still, because it was still in the air, I was still having a little bit of an issue. But I was good. I was okay. I was proactive. So, because I really don't ever want to have an anaphylactic issue, like a severe one, where I have to use my EpiPen. That would be extremely scary. But in some people, the symptoms disappear within 3 to 5 years, unless you get bit by a tick again. So I'm not one of those ones who are deathly afraid to go back outside. I have to live my life. I love being outside. It's one reason why I'm a nomad. I love taking walks in the woods. I love hiking. I love kayaking. I used to love fishing, but now it feels weird if I go fishing because I'm a vegan, but still. Um, so I'm careful. And I don't use poisons, toxic. I don't use DEET. I have essential oil that's a bug off that I use. But if a tick gets on me, well, it gets on me. I'll probably, if a Lone Star tick gets on me and bites me again, I'll probably have more issues with the alpha-gal. I'm kind of curious to see that, but I really don't want to get bit again. But I'm careful. I'm not going to live my life in a shell. I'm not going to not enjoy life now. So if you want to look, research more about this, and just look up alpha-gal. It's ALPHAGAL. And I hope none of you ever get it. I seriously do, but I'm glad I know that this is probably most of my problems that I've been having for all these years. Okay, another question was, let me see, I wrote it down, I'm sorry. What was the hardest part about being vegan, and how did I overcome it? Well, my son watched, about 10 years ago, I think he was in 8th grade, he started watching PETA videos and watched one too many, and he refused to eat meat. And so I was on board with him. I was already basically a vegetarian. The only meat I ate was skinless, boneless chicken breast and salmon and some tilapia. I had eaten only that for years, and I just didn't want, I was never really a meat eater. I mean, I ate ground beef as meatloaf for tacos, but I never really liked it, and this probably was why, because your body's telling you something. So it was easy to know what not to eat. I had lactose issue, milk bothered me, ice cream really bothered me, so I hadn't been eating that. But back then, 10 or 11 years ago, we didn't have the vegan food like we have now, like the alternative meat and that kind of stuff, and some of the snackable foods that we know for sure are vegan. I mean, there's plenty of foods that are vegan that we already eat. And if you really look at your diet, what you eat every day, 95% of your diet is vegan. And it's amazing how people don't know that. I'll name off things to them, like, do you eat apples? Yeah, it's vegan. Do you eat bananas? Yeah, vegan. Oatmeal? Vegan. All these things are vegan, you don't realize it. So you're almost already vegan except for the meat and dairy that you eat. So it's pretty easy. So we were vegan for about a year, and then I just wasn't feeling good, and I wanted to take control of my life. I was on like 7 different medications. I had been on morphine for about 16 years for back issues and pain, and it wasn't doing anything for my pain, but it was doing something for my GI issues. So we stayed on it because it slowed my gut down. So we stayed on morphine, and I did all this research. I was having like side effects, and I researched the medications I was on: trazodone, gabapentin. There was one other one, Xanax. And a couple of those medications interfere with each other, so you shouldn't be taking them together. They cause side effects, and they interact with each other. And my doctor should have known this. The pharmacist should have known this. So I decided one day I'm done. I did all the research I could, and I just didn't look up one thing, like what are the side effects of morphine. I went in depth, and I got off all of them, except 2. I'm on a bladder pill, and my high blood pressure. I've had high blood pressure since I was 16. My dad died at 36 from a heart attack. But they can't figure out what's wrong with me, which is also another side effect they're finding out with alpha-gal's cardiac issues. I've had every test. I've had 2 nuclear tests, and I've had everything except where they go up into your groin with a scope or something. The stress test. I've had all those, and they can't find one thing wrong with me. I've had my blood work has come back. My cholesterol and triglycerides have been like perfect. Some of the doctors have said they've never seen numbers that good. So they don't really know. They think it is unexplained hypertension. That's what they call it. But I would love to get off my medication. And I have a spastic bladder. It could be from the 6 pregnancies I've had, and the last one being twin boys. And they were 7 pounds apiece. So I had 14 pounds of baby in there sitting on my bladder. So when I stopped taking all those meds, I felt better. And when I started, I went full on vegan. I went everything cold turkey. And now, 7 years ago, it was easier. I knew so much more. I was able to, look things up. 10 years ago, my daughter's godfather, he was a raw vegan, and he sent me a cookbook. And to this day, there's food in there that I've never, ever seen in the store. So it was kind of overwhelming back then. But now I know, and it's so easy. And it's like second guessing. There's no second guessing it. And I see people now, when they first get diagnosed with alpha-gal, well, what do I eat? I'm thinking, well, walk into your produce section. That's what you eat. I mean, food is our medicine. And you don't need processed food to live. You can make your own food. Even if you don't cook, there's so many easy things to make that taste good. They only take a few minutes to put together, and it's really not hard. So that's why I love being a nomad. I have cooked for people out, in the desert, in the woods, anywhere, even in parking lots. And I've helped them make better decisions on what foods to buy. And they didn't realize that, this is better for you than this something in a can. You can get the same effect. Even like spices, like a taco mix. The ones in a bag are just so full of salt and sugars and just garbage for you, even though I did buy one today. Then you can just have some spices and throw it together and have probably a better tasting one. But it has been an easy process. I mean, in the beginning it was a little bit difficult, but now we have, the alternative plant milk is taking over the cow milk section. So it's so much easier to find a different type of milk to drink, and they're delicious. Even the cheeses that they're coming out with now. I'm making tacos tonight for my daughter, and I wanted sour cream because it's a vegan sour cream. They didn't have it, but they had feta cheese, they had Parmesan cheese, they had blue cheese. Every cheese they had there except smoked provolone, which I just had some the other day. That's delicious. But it didn't have any sour cream for me, but it's okay. So it's been easy. Now it's easy. It's really easy now. It gets difficult, like traveling sometimes, like I mentioned in another video, just to run into a gas station and grab a snack. And that's usually, nuts or a piece of fresh fruit. In the afternoon, they usually don't have that anymore. And that's the only time. Or crackers. Oreos are vegan. Nutter Butters are vegan. Lay's potato chips, original and barbecue, are vegan. Ritz crackers are vegan. And these are things that I shouldn't be eating. I don't need all the salt, sugar, or carbs. I don't need processed food. But when you're on the road and you just want a snack, if I don't have anything in the trailer, that's what I grab. But I try not to do that often. And even the ice cream now, so delicious, has delicious, they're on a stick and they're chocolate covered. They have a fudge one and they have a caramel one that are absolutely delicious. They're better than the other regular ice creams that I used to get. But I'll cut this short. I'm already at almost 14 minutes. So I hope I answered some of your questions. And tomorrow I'll do another one. Someone asked me if I could do something about my children. And even though I did a quick thing for Mother's Day and didn't get any comments from my kids, only one of them watched it. I guess the other ones, well, my boys were busy working. I don't know what my daughter's problem was, my older one, but I'm going to throw it in their face. I'm trying to do this to make some money, and so I can continue to live on the road. And that's another question I'm going to touch on. A lady asked me, do I have plans on ever coming off the road, and what will I do then? And I'll touch on that tomorrow. Well, guys, I hope you've learned something from me, and you guys have a good day.